All righty, we are live like Memorex. I know I say that all the time. I think I'm showing my age by saying that, but I cannot help it. I just cannot help it. So let me make sure that we are live on Facebook as well so that everybody can see my super duper guest for today. I'm super excited. Let me get this together, Miss Wood. Put that on public so everyone can see. All righty. Well, welcome, ladies and gents. I am super duper excited for another episode of 30 Women, 30 Days in the life and times of a female entrepreneur, focusing on what it takes to be a female in this entrepreneur space. And not only that, what goes on behind the scenes, like the real, like what really happens. You know, the good, the bad, the not so rock star-ish, You think you're a rock star, but if they only knew what goes on behind the scenes. And so I made a decision to interview 30 female entrepreneurs, and not just a regular interview, but an interview like, girl, let me tell you what happened today, but I'm going to keep pushing. So, because sometimes as female entrepreneurs, and even those that are trying to be entrepreneurs, we sometimes get stuck. We sometimes get discouraged, disappointed, and want to quit. Like, that would be me. It's been a couple times I said, I'm not going to be a rock star today. I quit. So, but it's something in us that makes us keep going. And so, who else should I call in to give us the real on how to balance this entrepreneurial space and a family, like a full-fledged family, like the husband, kids, the whole 9 yards. I don't even know if she got a dog or not, but I want to introduce to you, and in case you don't know, you know now, the Cheryl Wood.
And no, we do not have a dog. As bad as my kids want one, I absolutely refuse to have another kid, because that's all a dog becomes as a kid.
Oh, yes.
You got to make sure he has somewhere to go when you're going on vacation. No.
So Cheryl, why don't you, because I know who you are, and like 90% of the world knows who you are, but there is that 10% that doesn't know who Cheryl Wood is. So could you just tell us a little bit about you and your business and what you do?
Yes. So it's so funny. A lot of people run from the word motivational speaker. I run towards it because that is what I do best. I inspire, empower, and motivate people, and I have no problem owning that. So I am Cheryl Wood, international motivational speaker and women's empowerment champion. And I have a real heart and passion for supporting women and breathing oxygen into their dreams. Because I do believe that a lot of times our dreams get left, in the dust. I believe that we put everybody before us. We're taking care of the household. Yeah. We're helping our man to achieve his dreams. We're taking care of the kids and urging them to do what they love. But then when it comes to us, we're always the last on the list. So I want women not to wait until they're in their 60s and now they're empty nesters to say, what is my purpose? What am I meant to do? And that's what a lot of women are doing. They're waiting until their kids are grown and now basically they're trying to figure out who they are. And I'm like, I want us to tap into that much, much sooner at a much younger age and much earlier in our lives while we're raising kids. Because I believe your kids deserve to see you living the best life that you possibly can live and see you evolving into the person that you believe you're destined to be. So I have a heart for that. And I travel the world. I love getting to say that now. I travel the world being able to pour into the lives of women, just to remind them, don't leave you out of the equation. And primarily I'm supporting women entrepreneurs who are in their first 6 years of business, especially those who want to learn how to use their voice more powerfully in the marketplace so that they can not only have a business that allows them to tap into their passion and their purpose, but also they're creating these businesses that are allowing them to create a legacy and also to create generational wealth, which then impacts not only them, but generations to come, their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, and generations to come. So I just have a heart for that, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, where were you when I was 25 and trying to find myself?
Trying to find myself?
I tell you, I love the fact that you said you breathe oxygen into women, that's major because it gives them life. And that's the way that I look at that, because I too was one of those people, you get to a certain age and you're like, all right, now what am I going to be when I grow up? And be serious too. Like, all that I did before, I don't want to do that no more.
Right. And sometimes I find, like, I'm 43. I don't mind telling how old I am. I'm 43 with 3 kids. And I think a lot of times I look at women,
when you get close to 50.
It's coming quicker than I want. It's coming quicker. But I look at a lot of women who are in my age group, and maybe even a few years older. And a lot of times I feel like they're in a space where they're raising children and they feel like their entire existence has to be about that. Like, why does mom have to be the only title that I have? Why does wife have to be the only title that I have? Why can't I have the title of a successful business owner? Why can't I have the title of a multimillionaire? Why can't I have all these other titles, an international motivational speaker who's traveling the world? So I don't want to limit myself to my title as a wife and a mom when I know that there are other people who need to be impacted by who I am and my gifts, other than just my husband and my kids. I know that there are hundreds of thousands of women across the globe who need my unique fingerprint to get to the next level in their journey and in their life. So I owe it to myself to tap into who I am in that space. And I owe it to the world, those who are waiting for me to show up, to make sure that I give attention to the space of my purpose and my passion as well.
Now, I hear you speaking and it sounds all good. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, she always had it together, because if you sound like this with this much power, this much energy, and, hey, girl, I can help you because I, can breathe oxygen into you. So you're trying to say that you always felt like this?
Heck to the no.
The way you sound like you had it all together. I was like,
well, I think that's the beauty of evolving through your own journey and your process, is that you become more confident in who you are and what you want and how you want to show up in the world. And that only comes from falling down flat on your face in front of everybody. That only comes from failing and getting back up and trying it again. So I haven't always been this confident. I have not always been this assured, this savvy in my business. There have been a lot of mistakes that have led to this confident woman that you're seeing now. But the thing is, I keep getting up. I have this spirit of resilience that nothing will keep me down. It might knock me down, but it's not going to keep me down. So in the early stages of my business, which I started back in 2009, first of all, it wasn't pretty when I started. I didn't know where to start. All I knew that at the time was that I was going to a job every day that I didn't love. It didn't nurture my spirit. I felt like I was just existing in life and I wanted something different, but I didn't know, how does a girl who grew up in poverty, who has no college degree, how does she go beyond a job as a legal secretary going to a cubicle every day? Like, how does that happen? Because when you're in the corporate world, your degree dictates where you're going. It's about your skill set and your level of being able to be a quick learner and be quick on your feet. It's not just that. That's great, and they love that, but that's not going to move you up the corporate ladder. So for me, I was stuck at a cubicle for 15 years doing what I was great at but didn't love. So my spirit was yearning for something more, and I didn't know the answer, because there's no handbook that tells you, well, this is exactly what you do. Or if there was a handbook, I didn't have access to the handbook. So there was no handbook telling me, okay, first you do this and then you do that. So I felt like I was just on my own in figuring this thing out. And for me, what figuring it out meant was get started doing something. Because a lot of the answers come when you're in movement.
When you're in motion.
Yes, yeah. But a lot of people, they want the answer before they even execute anything. Well, a lot of those answers come by moving forward. You figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, who you should connect with, who you should abandon, who you should get away from. Yeah. Right? You learn all of those things by being in movement and in motion. So in 2009, I just started a t-shirt business. I didn't know why in the ham sandwich I was selling t-shirts.
I was going to ask you, what made you say, I'm going to sell t-shirts?
Girl, you know what it was? The biggest factor was I didn't want to chase money. So there were a lot of business opportunities that I could have pursued where it would technically lead me to a whole bunch of money real quick if I worked hard enough, if I grinded hard enough, if I did whatever. But I didn't want to chase money because I knew eventually I would run out of steam if I didn't love it.
Yes.
So I knew I didn't want to do that. So I took the other road, which was, okay, chase the thing that you're most passionate about in this moment. And the beauty about that is you can change it later. It doesn't have to stay that thing. You get to evolve into who you really think or believe that you're supposed to be as you continue to move forward. Yeah. So in that moment, my kids were babies. You're talking 8 years ago. I mean, they were baby. Now they're 9, 10, and 13, but then I still had kids on my hip. So I was just all mushy gushy in love as a mom. So I said, well, what can I create that connects to my love of being a mom? And this was after 30 years of being told by doctors I would never have babies. So you can imagine how mushy gushy I was that I had these 3 beautiful babies, right? God had a whole different plan. Right? Sometimes he the joke on you, Cheryl. And so I said, all right, I'm going to create this t-shirt business that's going to celebrate mothers. And I called it Moms Are the Best. And I would go out to events and I would literally set up a table and hope to sell t-shirts. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I only sold 1 or 2 and I had to pack all that mess up and take it back home. And then my husband be like, oh, so how much you sell? Let's talk about something else, right? Ain't nothing worse than you taking 4 boxes of t-shirts and you come back with 4 boxes of t-shirts. So, but I had to get used to so many things in that space. It taught me how to speak up and talk to people about what I sell, and what the benefit of it is to them and why they should purchase it. It taught me how to hear the word no and not be crushed by it, where I just felt such personal rejection. It taught me how to network with other people, because a lot of the events I went to didn't have a lot of attendees there. So I made it my business every time I would go around and network with the other vendors. So I learned how the power of networking and developing relationships. There's so many things I learned in that space of really not understanding what I was doing and what I was moving towards, but I knew I was moving. And I think that's so key. Are you in motion, or are you just still thinking about it and planning it and brainstorming on it?
Right.
And so the t-shirt business ultimately ushered me into the speaking business. But there was a lot of failure just in the first couple years of the t-shirt business. There were a lot of failures. A lot of times I came back home broke the way I left in the morning, and I'd be gone, 6 to 8 hours at an event, sitting outside an event in the heat, and then again having to come home and deal with my own head trash. Now, well, dang, do people not like it? Is it not good enough? Should I lower my price? Is the t-shirt too high? So you got all this crap going on your mind. Then you come home and your spouse wants to know what you've been doing for 8 hours. Like, where you been at? And you ain't got no money? You ain't bringing no money in the house? Why was you gone for 8 hours, right? So then you got to deal with that. So those are some of the real sides of being in business and starting a business that people a lot of times don't articulate and don't talk about. And those were trying times, but again, I'm resilient. So I just kept getting back up.
Wow. And I can only imagine coming home with the box of t-shirts that you went to. And then
4 boxes, not a box, 4 boxes.
I can imagine you out there, you got your table, it's hot outside, and you're trying to convince people that they should buy this t-shirt. It's like selling encyclopedias door to door, and just
that's it. Praying, literally praying like, Lord, please let somebody buy a t-shirt. Please don't let this day be a complete waste. Please don't let my investment for the money I paid to have this table in this space be a total waste. You're praying. And then every time somebody comes to the table, you got that little bit of excitement, like, oh, shucks, I'm about to sell a t-shirt now, right? And then the person look at it, they pick it up, they hold it, they look, oh, this is so nice. They have a 20-minute conversation and they put the t-shirt back down and walk away and don't make the purchase. So when that keeps happening over and over again, if you allow it to, fear can creep in to try to convince you that you're not good enough, or your product is not good enough, or you're not doing something right. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You could be doing everything right and still just not producing the results yet. That doesn't mean the results aren't coming. Maybe you're just not producing them yet. Maybe you're on the road to producing them by going through all those failures, because we all have heard that before. You got to get through all those no's to get to a yes. So maybe you're getting through your no's so that you can get to the yes that's going to be such a big yes that it's going to open a whole new door of opportunity for you that's going to position you much further than where you are right now. But going through that in the moment is very, very challenging. And you got to have a special kind of grind and grit about yourself to hear no, 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 over and over and over and over
Not right
again.
now.
And still, right, and still not be deterred. And no, here's the worst one. Oh, okay, I'm gonna come back. And you know they're not coming back to your turn. Stop playing with my emotions. Stop playing with my emotions. You know you're not coming back.
But Cheryl, did you have any good girlfriends that say, girl, you could do it, you can win. I'm going to help you with your t-shirts. I'm going to come out there with you. We're going to sell these boxes.
What?
Your girls, right? Your girls.
No.
You know,
ain't nobody coming out, sitting out in 100-degree weather with you trying to sell some white t-shirts.
They'll say moms are the best.
That's when you learn, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. A lot of it is in those early stages, you are in this thing and you have got to believe in it so much because the people that you want to support sometimes just don't have the capacity to support, for whatever reason. And it's not my job to judge why they do or don't support. It's just my job to stick to my dream and to know that every time I get up and show up, that it's going to position me to grow up. Right? I'm going to grow to the next level. I'm going to grow to whatever the next relationship is or the next experience is. That's going to push me closer to where I'm meant to be.
Okay. So we're selling t-shirts. Hubby looking at you kind of sideways and you're hot and you're a little tired, but you're persistent. But how do we make this change over to the whole speaking thing? That's two different worlds.
Yeah. So ironically, I kept showing up, and that's the power of continuing to show up, is that eventually the opportunities that are meant for you will manifest. But if you quit because it was hard the last 15 times, it could be that time number 16 that you show up, that's where the blessing is. That's where the person you're supposed to meet is. That's where the connection is. That's where the opportunity is. So you can't quit before the blessings show up. So for me, I just kept doing it. I was still working the full-time job as a legal secretary. And 18 months later, you're not talking about 8 days, 18 months later of doing this thing. And my husband, by this time, really just believing I have lost my mind because I'm still doing it. I get a phone call from somebody at Morgan State University. And the person has heard about the t-shirt business and asked me would I come in and speak at their conference, their women's conference, to teach other moms how to start their own businesses. And I burst out laughing because I was like, you have dialed the wrong number. You are not looking for this, Cheryl Wood. Because I wasn't a speaker, I didn't have any experience as a speaker, and I would never even contemplate that anybody would even think about asking me to come and speak on any topic, considering I was still trying to find my own way. Like, why am I doing this again? Right? So they asked me, and I just decided to say yes. As much as I felt unqualified, I felt called to do it. I felt called to.
Thought about being a speaker?
No.
You ever never? It just didn't even cross your mind.
Didn't cross my mind at all. Didn't even realize I had a gift for speaking. Like sometimes you just don't even know until you get in motion and somebody else sees something in you that you don't see in you, that you have no idea you even have. So somebody saw something in me, not to mention things I believe God was divinely orchestrating things, right? So someone saw something greater and was like, yeah, I think you would do a great job doing this. And they called me and I said yes to the opportunity. And that's really a golden nugget, is to say yes more than you say no. And to say yes even when you feel unqualified, because maybe you've just been called. There's something unique or special about you that you just haven't even unveiled yet and discovered yet. And maybe that's the opportunity for you to discover it. So I said yes. And I walked up in there like I had been speaking forever. Went up to the desk. I was like, I'm Cheryl. Yes, Cheryl Woods. International speaker. Cheryl, international what? I wasn't nobody international, nothing at that point. First speaking engagement, but I showed up the way I wanted to be viewed. You know what I mean? Like you can't show up like you're the rookie. You can't show up like you're the novice. You have to show up as a competitor, a confident competitor. And it was in that moment. It was September 18th, 2010. I remember it was like it was yesterday. And I went to Morgan State University, and oh my God, I was like, oh my God, after I spoke and I could see the women's eyes light up from what I was sharing, the information I was sharing, and the way I felt internally, I was like, this is what I was born to do. Like, I knew there was no question after that.
There, you knew that.
I knew right in that moment. I had never experienced that type of internal fulfillment about any career I had ever pursued, about any job I'd ever had. I never experienced that level of internal fulfillment.
Wow. And you do have to show up like you've been there. I was telling someone the other day, I remember popping up out of my bed and Rockstar 360 just kind of I was like, hey, I like that name. It's kind of catchy. So I just started saying it and using it and putting it on social media. And people would say, well, what is Rockstar 360? I'm like, I really don't know myself. But we're going to act like we got something going on, and it's going to all fill in. All the little holes are going to be filled in.
Yeah,
So, but you have to. You freaking have to. So the fact that I knew that was it, just like you going on stage at Morgan State and kind of like, oh, sugar, I'm a speaker now.
Yeah.
You know it, but you still got to figure it out. You know, it wasn't like I spoke at Morgan State University and all of a sudden all these people are asking me to be on their platforms. I'm just sure rock your stage would, and everybody's going to want me.
If only it happened that way.
Oh, that's not how it goes?
No, that is not how it goes. So
some people think you woke up like this.
Oh my God. Yeah. Or they think it was yesterday. I started yesterday and decided I wanted to. Girl, don't get me started. We are way too far along in the journey for anybody to think I woke up yesterday and decided I wanted to do this. This has been a lot of work and effort and time and investments, financial investments, learning and mastering my craft and sticking with it and doing it the wrong way so that I could learn how to do it the right way, and not getting paid to speak so I could learn how to get paid to speak. And getting out there. I mean, for an entire year after that event in September, at the top of 2011, I made a decision that is what I wanted to do with my life. Like, I was very crystal clear on it. And I didn't know the how, but I knew that I had to just keep showing up. Right. And so for an entire year, I spoke for free. I didn't charge anybody to come and speak because I wanted to learn what it really meant to be a speaker. And for me, that meant showing up and speaking to small audiences, showing up and speaking to big audiences. I used to speak in people's homes. They would have like a small book club meeting and there would be 4 people in the room, including me.
In the living room. You was the living room speaker.
I was the living room speaker. Yes, I was. But you couldn't tell me it wasn't a big stage. It wasn't a big stage and I wasn't talking in front of hundreds of people, because I would always bring the same level of energy. It didn't matter how many people were there. Yeah. So I did that for a year. In fact, I was just at an event recently and somebody came running over and she's like, oh my God, I remember when you were speaking at the libraries. I was like, wow. It just flashed back to everything that I've put in to get to this place where I can command a certain amount and be on stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people. But I went through, I remember getting booked then and getting booked now is completely different. Right. Getting booked then was just somebody asked me to come and speak, but it was usually for free. But in my mind, yes, I just got booked to speak. So sometimes people would say, hey, could you come and speak? We can pay you $500. I'd be like, yes, because I wasn't making that on my full-time job. They weren't paying me $500 to come and, do anything for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Exactly. So they would say, oh, we're going to pay you $500. And we're going to have 100 people in the room. So I would show up for this event and it wouldn't be 100 people in the room. There would be 10 people in the room. And they would come to me and say, oh, can I talk to you for a minute? And I always knew what that meant. And they would say, well, we didn't sell as many tickets as we thought. And so, I'm so sorry. We don't have the $500. And I experienced that more times than I wish to recall. And in that moment, it really was a decision. I could walk out because they didn't have my money, right, or I could just keep pressing forward. Because I believe sometimes the experience and the exposure that can be equally as beneficial as the check that you were going to get, especially in the early stages. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to pay their dues and they don't want to do nothing for, as free as we call it. I don't think you're ever free, but they don't want to waive their fee. They don't want to get started. And look, nobody knows who you are if you're just behind your computer saying that you're amazing. Nobody knows that but you. Exactly. So you got to get out into the world and you got to show them and you got to prove it to them. So I would just say, you know what? I would be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I would be disappointed because a lot of times I was banking on that $500 or that $300. Right, exactly. I was banking on that because I was on my last dime. So I might have spent my last 20 to put in the gas tank to drive to the event thinking I'm about to get a $500 check, and I get there and they don't have any money for me. And I just always prided myself on showing up in excellence and doing me. Just doing me. And doing me means getting on that stage and rocking that stage out no matter how many people were in the room. So I remember this one event I went to, and I drove all the way to Virginia, and I get there and it's like 100 seats set up and it's like 3 people. I'm not lying. It's like 3 people in the audience and it's like 10 vendors around the wall. And I was so discouraged when I walked in, but I was like, I can't show that discouragement to the people who are here, who did show up, because it's only 3 people here, but they showed up and they deserve to get what they showed up for. So I went to the front of the stage, and I'm telling you, I rocked that speech as though every one of those 100 seats were filled. And at the end, it was like, yes. You bad girl. Yeah. I was like I can remember that like it was yesterday. But that was my process. That was my process. And it was destined for me to go through that process so that I could get to the place where I am now and really value and appreciate where I am, because I went through the mess. I went through the mud to get here on this other side. So when people say to me now, you're so humble. Oh my God, you're so humble. I don't have no choice but to be humble, because I didn't just wake up and say this is what I wanted and click my heels 3 times and get here. I have literally gone through the mud and the mess to get here. So now I can stand upright and confidently, not arrogantly, but confidently say, I belong here. Yeah. And with that, for me, it just comes humility. And the humility also comes from having a compassion for people who are currently in the space I was in. So I know that there are a lot of people who want to be on stages. They want to speak. They want to share their voice. You know, they get tears in their eyes when they see other people on stage, and they know that that's what they want to do. I know what it feels like to be in that space where you're wondering, am I ever going to get there? Am I ever going to make any money? Is anybody ever going to know who I am? And I want them to keep pressing forward. So the compassion for the people who I'm serving, who are currently in the space I was in, is the thing that lends to the humility that people see.
Let me ask you this. Through the mess and the mud, did you ever say, I don't know about this?
Yes.
My last 3 people in there, this is not freaking working.
Oh my God. Yes, of course. I absolutely did. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about successful people. It's not that we don't have doubts and fears and worries. And it's not that we don't wake up sometimes and have those moments where we're like, I just don't feel like this today. Or I don't feel like going out and fighting today for the next dollar. Or I don't feel like fighting for the next speaking engagement. Whatever it is. Yeah. And the only difference with us and the people, other individuals, is that we do it anyway. That's it. So of course, I've had times where I'm like, look, I'll never forget this. I got to share this. I will never forget, there was this moment where I was really, really I felt down on my luck in the speaking business. I didn't feel like anything was happening. I certainly wasn't making any money. I was still going to my full-time job. I was like, why am I working this hard, doing this, and nothing's happening, nothing's manifesting. No, I still don't know who I am. I'm never going to get to that place. And I remember thinking to myself, and I was feeling this way because I was so broke. And I kept saying to myself, tears were streaming down my face. And I said, this is ridiculous that I can't even get my kids what they want and what they need because I'm so busy chasing a dream. Like, I literally said those words.
Your husband at home like this.
And he was the person who really, we talk about putting the oxygen mask on. Can you still see me?
Yep.
Okay, because I don't know what happened to my screen because now I don't see you, but it's okay. He was the person who put that oxygen mask to my face in that moment. And he said, you know what? You've come too far. You've worked too hard. Somebody up in this house going to live their dream. You are not quitting now. You are not going back now. And it was just those words, because I felt like I was robbing my kids of the financial things that they could be experiencing if I wasn't chasing this dream. So I think every person who is successful I'm sure has a story where they just wanted to throw in the towel and throw up their hands and just say, it's too hard. And maybe we actually have said it out of our mouths. It's too hard. I want to get it. But it's usually somebody in your inner circle who is that person who puts the oxygen mask on. Like when you're in a plane, they say, put it on you first, but then help the person next to you. Yes, exactly. You got to be surrounded by people who will put that oxygen. I'm on video. I love my family. That's because he can't see the screen. I love you, babe. Mwah, mwah, talking about you now.
We see you though.
He all rubbing my back. I'm good. He ain't do nothing else. Okay, so
right. Cheryl, we see your oxygen.
That's my oxygen right there. That's my oxygen right there.
We see
but you gotta be surrounded by people who are not gonna let you quit and not let you throw in the towel. And for me, a lot of times that's been my husband. And at other times it's been women that I'm surrounded with who I'm like, look, this is just too hard. And as you're going to the next level, there's always that bump in the road. Yeah. And you're like, look, I'm going to stay right here because I don't feel like fighting to get to the next level. So you got to be surrounded by those people who put that oxygen mask on for you and remind you that you have work to do in the world.
Exactly. And I remember, I know it's like a running joke between you and I. I get
I was waiting for you to say it.
It's like, I don't know if I'll ever forget this. The moment you said you spoke, it was a graduation.
Yep.
And one of the people putting on the program itself, when they said, we're going to have Cheryl Wood be the keynote, and she was given, Cheryl, Cheryl Wood, who? Like, who the heck is a Cheryl Wood? Right? And then after you killed the stage, after you just shut the whole program down, then she comes up to you and says, you know what? When they told me it was going to be Cheryl Wood speaking, I was like, Cheryl Wood, who? I'll tell you, every time I see you kill a stage up on your page, Cheryl Wood, who?
And I will never forget that either because that was at the Xfinity Center here locally. And I had never spoken for a graduation before. It was my first time. And, I didn't go to college. So for me to put on, like the little robe, I felt so educated. And I was so excited. But she pulled me over and said that. I was just like, well, bless her little heart. But she was honest. And she said, I didn't know who you were when they said you were going to be the speaker. But afterwards, she was, kind enough to say, I will never, ever ask that question again. You were amazing. And people were stopping me after the graduation was over. People were stopping me in the parking lot, running over to me in the parking lot, saying just how moved they were by the speech, by the presentation. So Cheryl Wood, who? That's always out running you.
I bet y'all, I bet y'all heifers know now. I bet y'all know now. I don't know why that cracks me up. I think because I know that you're great. So for somebody to discount that and be like, oh, and then it's kind of checked. You'd be like, you know that. That's so hilarious. I don't know. And I still laugh at it. How long ago was that? How long ago was that?
Years, maybe 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
I still get a kick out of it.
Me too. Every time. And as soon as I see you, I wait for it to come out your mouth. But I'm like, who gonna say it first? Either she gonna say it or I'm gonna say it first. Cheryl will.
Oh, that's gonna be so funny. I just, but I love when you show up in greatness. It's like, I ain't even gotta tell y'all my name. I'm just gonna go over here, burn the daggone stage down, and y'all will figure it out when I get done.
Figure it out. I love it. I love it.
I so love it. Now I know, there was a point where I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be a speaker? Am I going to be a trainer? Am I going to be a rock star? Like, what is Lyric going to do? And I remember you having your Rock Your Stage program. Mm-hmm. And I had never taken any coaching, any program, anything at all. So wow. I remember coming to one of your events and I was kind of like, I don't know. Just, I'd never done this before. This is just, it's just not in my everyday world. I don't have no girlfriends that took programs or anything. And I remember Belinda B-Fit was like, just go talk to her. Go talk to her. And I was like, no, I'm not sure. She said, no, just go. And she took my purse. It was like, go. I was like, little girl, but I was like,
literally, little girl, little.
Right.
Always, but Belinda be bossing us around, don't she?
Right. And she pushed me on in there and took my purse. So I was like, well, let me go in here. But only because I just had never been in that space. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know about the coaching and the mentors and the things that you need to even become great, to even build your business, your brand, or heck, just to do anything right, you need some help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you
And
don't
you know
know
what?
any better.
I think that's why we resonated, because and we clicked, because I was from a similar background. Like, I didn't know when I first got started, I didn't know anything about that stuff either.
I just,
I didn't come from that world of like personal development. And I was like, what?
what
I'm
is
gonna
that?
spend how much on a ticket? I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna spend $300 on a conference. What? I was from the same world. So again, I get it when people come into, and it's completely new when they come into that space. So that allows me to have compassion for people. Like, I get it. Like, some people get to a space and they're like, oh, you don't go through personal development. Like, they're just so offended. And I'm like, no, I remember I was in that space where I
Yeah.
was like, you want me to pay how much for a conference? What I'm getting from this conference, right? That wasn't a part of my world.
Yeah, and I think that's why when I get people in my inbox, or somebody stops me, or somebody asks me a question, anything in reference to branding and their videos, I always freaking answer. I just answer. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't hurt for me to say, oh no, post it like this and add these hashtags. It doesn't cost me anything.
Right.
It's just the little tweaks, and it works. And when you help people, they
Yeah.
will never forget it.
That's so
Never,
true.
ever forget it. And I have people that will refer me, tag me when somebody's looking for somebody, only because I've been nice enough to them.
That's it.
And
I have people who I've sent something very small to, because they inbox me and ask me one question, and I responded to it. And I, you know, sometimes I'm guilty of not responding, and that's only because I get busy.
right.
But most times I try my best to respond, even if it's just something quick, a quick tip. And sometimes it's something that's really long and drawn out. And I'll say, you know, that's almost impossible for me to really give you a strong answer in this inbox. But here's something that might at least help you get started. Do this, 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 and this, or go here and visit this site, or read this, or whatever it might be. And people remember that. I've had people come to me at an event, and I don't even remember sending them an answer. And the first thing they'll say is, I sent you an inbox. And the first thing I say is, did I answer? That's always my first question. Like, did I respond? Because I intend to respond, but sometimes life gets crazy. And they were like, yes, you responded, and blah, blah, blah. And their gratitude is just at such a high level from that one response. Just the fact that you took time to respond to them and help them in their moment of needing some information.
Yeah, and it's major, because I remember going through your program, and it was at the boot camp. And I know I mentioned it to you once before, and you were like, you remember that? I did. It was a boot camp. Yeah. We're in there. I don't know anybody, in the room. And it was just kind of like, because, I'm not your, huggy type of girl. And I was just like, but you made everybody stand up and introduce themselves. Yeah. And I remember after everybody went around, introduced themselves, and sat down, you posed the question, now, who did you all remember the most?
Yes.
From their introduction. So people were saying, well, her. And I think it was me and Belinda, as a matter of fact. I think Belinda was like the top, and I just came in underneath her. And that little thing bothered me so bad, that the fact that I wasn't above Belinda, and I love Belinda to death, but I'm very competitive. But what it taught me was, if somebody gives you 30 seconds, you better make that the best doggone 30 seconds of your life, because you never know who's listening, who needs what you have, okay? You don't know who wants to hire you. You have no clue. But because you did not utilize your whole 30 seconds, you might have missed out on something.
Yep.
And I never, ever forgot it. But the thing is, I think I get on people's nerves with it, because, honey, they give me a microphone, for 30 seconds. Cheryl, I lied to you not. I remember being last year at PNC, and they had like a little breakout section. It was these two major guys that do marketing. And I'm with Dr. Nadia, and I said, I'm going to say something. She said, oh, my God. And I stood up, and I was like, yes, I am Lyric Hawkins from Rockstar 360. We do media and personal brand. I forgot what I asked, but he never answered. He was like, he sat me down so fast. I was like, you will not shine in this room right here. I'll never forget it. But then there's been other times, like I went to see Eric Thomas at a VIP event with him. And people were asking him questions because it was a Q&A session. Everybody stood up and asked a question, never said their name. I was like, oh, y'all ain't been to Cheryl Wood. I know how to do this one. Right? So y'all ain't had the good training. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. And I noticed that. It stuck out like a sore thumb that nobody said their name. They just got up and asked whatever question they had. So I get up, hello, my name is Lyric Hawkins of Rockstar 360. And he started clapping. Him and CJ and his other boy started clapping. He was like, then that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So, those two other guys, don't worry about it. Eric's
exactly.
did a great job. So
you know what? Everybody can't stand your shine. Everybody can't stand when you want 100 watt. They want you to dim down to 45. No, I'm not dimming down to 45. I'm on this earth to shine bright. So you go into places, you continue to go to places where people celebrate that bright light. Because why should you dim that for anybody, right? And I have an issue with people who want you to dim your light or you know, bring it down some or calm down. Why should I be calm about the thing I love? like I did what I didn't want to do for such a long time. I should always be fired up and pumped up and excited and energized about what I do. And if you can't handle that, that's your problem, not mine.
Right. And I just
I love that.
Never forgot that. I will never, ever open my mouth in a room and not say who I am. I have 30 seconds. You gonna know.
You gonna know. That's right.
Know. Like you gonna learn today. But that was major in itself. And then the fact that the women in that group, that whole Rock Your Stage beehive type crew you got going on, we all became friends. I said, oh, I got some new friends. Right. Like, I just, you know, they just became my good girlfriends. Yeah. And everybody's doing so amazing. And then you put out a post, what was it, yesterday, about the people that came through your program and all the great things that they were doing. And I put on that, girl, this all stemmed from you. We ain't show up like that.
Yeah, right. And that's the beauty of it. I think for us as your coach, I do coaching, is that we know people come to us and they already have greatness within them. Like, we're not trying to force greatness into people. They come with that. Yeah. There might be some small piece that you can add to help pull that out. So it might be confidence, it might be technology that they need for their business, whatever it might be. We're there to tweak little things and help enhance things that pull out the greatness to a whole nother magnitude. So I let people know that all the time. I don't take credit for the greatness. That's already birthed in you. That's given to you. It's just, I'm helping to kind of pull that out to the next level so that you see what I see. Because just like people saw greatness in me, I see greatness in the people who come to work with me. And I'm like, oh, girl, we about to take you to the next level. And I'm all fired up and excited because there's something in them I see, or I hear their story. And I'm big on stories, people's stories. So I'll hear their story and say, oh, my God, do you understand people are waiting for you? And I just get so passionate and fired up about the fact that people, women especially, are sitting on their stories. Yeah. Like, they're sitting on everything that they've learned, their experiences, their expertise, their knowledge that they've acquired across their lives, and they're just sitting and doing nothing with it. And for me, it's like, that's just not acceptable. We've got to share, because otherwise it goes to the grave with you. I mean, that shouldn't even be an option. Somebody's going to hear it. Somebody's going to hear from me. Somebody's going to be inspired. Every day that I wake up, I'm like, oh, somebody's going to be inspired today. It might be my waitress. It might be somebody in the grocery store line. Somebody's going to hear something, some type of inspirational message wherever I go and whenever I'm out and about. Or I'm going to tell somebody how amazing they are. You know, like the other day I go to Rita's place and I'm like, the young lady is just so polite. And I'm like, you are amazing. Like, do you know how many times I come to a place like this and I don't even get a smile or a hello? And like, wow, your customer service is exceptional. Like, something that small can move somebody, right? And make their day, make their week, and make them want to be even better than what they are in that moment. So whatever your gift is, like, you really owe it to yourself to share it with the world every single day. Don't let a day skip where you're not sharing somehow in some form or fashion, sharing your gift.
Yes, and I truly, truly agree. Now, going through all let me tell you, your rock your stage girls, before I go on, they very protective of you. It's like the beehive, honey. You better not say nay, nothing bad about that to Cheryl Wood, honey. That's like the beehive, Beyonce's beehive. And
Right.
I've said that to you before. Like, but you know what? And I remember one of my mentors telling me, you want to build your engagement on your page? Watch Cheryl Wood's page. I said,
wow.
what? They say, yeah. She talks to her people. She shouts out names. She says, great job, so-and-so, or so-and-so has got this going on. I love you. Somebody poured into, I mean, you call them out.
Yeah.
And you just kudos to them. You love up on them. You communicate with them. You're always talking to your tribe. And
and that's, for me, that's easy. Like, that's easy because that's just heartfelt, is that I'm always rooting for, like, I'm a big rooter for the underdog. You'll notice that about me. Anybody who's like grinding to get somewhere different, I'm ready. I'm ready to help you. Like, if you're really ready to work for it, I'm ready to help you. I want to see you accomplish it. And some of my clients, some of the rocker stage folks, I mean, they're almost unrecognizable from when I first met them, just like a year in or a year and a half. And I'm just like, and sometimes I have to remind them, because, you know, when you are the subject of what's happening, you can't always see the growth. Like, you still question, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't accomplishing nothing. And everybody else around you looking like, are you cray-cray? Like, look at all the things that are happening for you. So sometimes I am that voice of reasoning for them to say, how long have you been doing this? And I'll just say that. How long have you been doing this? A year, a whole year. Oh, a whole year. Okay. All right. Let's take a whole year. Right. Number one. But then I'll be like, okay, well, I challenge you to write down everything you've accomplished in the past year. And they get to making that list and they can't even believe it. Like, because we're so busy moving to the next thing that sometimes we forget what we've already accomplished. So these women, women who show up and do the work consistently, make your list. I'm serious, because we forget. Like, sometimes I got to stop myself and celebrate. Like, Cheryl, look at how freaking amazing the past year and a half has been for you. But if I don't make myself stop and sit and think about it, it just becomes, you know, something else to happen. That's just something else to happen. And then you can't have the gratitude that you should for it, because you just passed it by without even acknowledging it. Like, there's so many opportunities that didn't have to happen for you and to you. But it did, and it did for a reason. And now that's going to be a part of your legacy and a part of your journey and a part of where you're going and a part of what you pour back into your clients. So every part of it, we got to give ourselves permission to stop and celebrate. And I don't care how seemingly small it is. You know, I did Facebook Live for the first time. Yes, like, you should have a glass of wine, have a party, do something, celebrate.
I never thought to write that down, because there are times that you kind of like, that's really worked. I remember going in the studio with you. They gave me the call. They said, look, you're going in the studio. You're going in with Cheryl Wood. And I was like, who? Wait a minute, time out. And they was like, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. So you in her program. And so she's like your coach, you know, but you'll be just fine. I was like, all right. And then I had the interview. I said, oh, Lord. So, you know, and I remember it, because sometimes you just forget that you do have a little juice. You know, you do know a little something. But, you know, but it was like, look, you'll be just fine. It's like any other client. She's going to come in there. And I was like, yeah, you know it's Cheryl, right? We know it's Cheryl. We know it's Cheryl.
And you were so amazing, because that wasn't my lane. And that's the thing. You got to dominate in your lane and be amazing in your lane. So I'm amazing at what I do. And I don't dim my light on that. I'm amazing at helping women to develop their stories. I'm amazing at helping people who want to get on platforms and stages and share their voice and leverage the stage to bring more revenue into their business. I'm amazing at that. I love it and I own it. But there's some stuff I ain't amazing at. And when I came into the studio that day, those couple days I was there, you were amazing at instructing me and guiding me and making me feel comfortable in that space and giving me little cues. And that's what I needed. I needed that. So every woman needs to stand in her lane of amazing.
Yes.
because that's how we all move forward. But if you're trying to cross over into my lane and be amazing at that, that ain't your lane.
Right.
Stay over there in your lane. And then
Right.
that's how you get people in and magnetize the people who are supposed to work with you and be supported by you. So I was meant to be supported by you in that moment because that was your lane and you dominated in that space.
Oh, I appreciate that. Because you was like, how many more I got to do? I'm like, sure, come on, let's go.
Yes. Sister was tired. I was like, I don't know how many videos we doing today, but for real.
Come on, we're not done yet. Don't move. Well, Cheryl, all of this, starting at the t-shirt, table, led you to India.
Yeah.
And not just you to India. I saw your whole entire family, and if you had a dog, you would have took the dog too. Like I said, I don't mean no harm. You took so many pictures, and you involved us. Like I felt like I was in India. I was in front of my computer, like, ooh, that one. Oh my! I was on the side of the road. Oh look, she done took her husband and the kids. Oh my God! Yes.
Yes.
And the garments, and like you took us on that adventure with you. I felt like I was in India, girl.
So many people have said that. And I'm telling you, that goes back to my passion and my gifting of telling stories. Like, for me, that's just natural. So whenever I go anywhere and I'm experiencing something, especially for the first time, I like to tell a story. Oh, this is us on the way. Now we're in Switzerland. We're on the next plane. And this is us when we arrive. And there's a picture. Yeah. And this is us. Like, I see everything in visuals as a story. And I have so many people who have reached out to me to say, I felt like I was there. And that means everything to me because it says I did a great job engaging my audience and telling the story. And for me, that was just such a momentous occasion for me to take my family. Like, I didn't just get to go, like you said, it was my whole family to have them experience that culture shock, and to go out of the country and to know what it feels like to be on a plane for 14 hours and to taste, food from a different country. And like, that was like a milestone in my journey for sure. And then came back for a day and left right back the next day, went to London. And that was a milestone in my journey and getting to go there and see the need that's there for empowerment. Because sometimes here in the US, we feel like we're almost just kind of bombarded with empowerment and everybody's saying it and everybody's talking about it and we need it. But when you go to other countries, when you really take it global, you realize just how important the need is because they don't get it the way we get it here in the US. So for me, it was an eye opener to say, girl, you still got work to do. Because sometimes we get stuck in our own little zip code, our own little city state, and we're like, oh, it ain't enough for me. It ain't ain't nobody here need me. Maybe it's not. But do somebody in another zip code, city, state, country, do they need you? And are you willing to go where the need is? So for me, I'm just willing to go wherever I'm called to go, that's where I'm going.
Yes. And the fact that you go from the t-shirt to I could bring my whole doggone family over here. That's major because it's one thing to go over there and speak and be an international speaker. It's another thing to say, I'm going to speak and I'm bringing all my kids. And that's a major accomplishment in itself. What kid goes to India?
Right.
Nah, you gonna stay here. You got a little schoolwork to do. I'm gonna have my sister go to grandma.
Right.
She's gonna be, but that wasn't that's not their story. They go back to school and say, guess where I've been, y'all? I've been in India. They're like, no, you did. Let me show you the pictures real quick. Hold on.
Right.
Exactly. It's amazing, Cheryl.
Yeah.
It takes their kids. We just don't get that opportunity. So to be able to say, I have bust my tail.
Yes.
And showed up when it was 3 people and killed the stage like it was 100.
Right.
And it led me to the point where I can take my whole entire family to India and not blink an eye.
Yeah.
That's
Work. It's been work. Showing up and doing the work. Showing up, speaking up, following up, and not giving up.
Well, we are running on the end of our hour, and I always ask everybody this, Cheryl, this one question. If Cheryl Wood was not an international speaker, she did not speak at all, okay? And there were no boundaries. There was no financial boundaries. There's no possibility of it not being capable of happening. What would Cheryl Wood be doing?
Hmm. I would just be traveling the world. I'm sure I would be serving people and helping people's lives to be better in some capacity. I don't know what that capacity would be, but I would definitely be traveling the world. As in, I would probably be like, oh, I live here for 6 months. I lived in Australia for 6 months. And then I lived in Egypt for 6 months. And yes, and then I lived in Japan for 6 months. Like, that would be me. That would so be my life. I got to raise my kids and get them off to college first, but
right. Right. There were no boundaries. And the
yes.
thing is, a lot of people give me that traveling answer. And one of my ladies said she would travel and be like a travel blogger.
I like that.
Cute.
I like that.
Cute, but we got to get this traveling thing down because all of us feel like that.
Yes. See the world. There's so much of the world I need to see.
Yeah, more often in those places like India and Dubai and places that we should see.
Yep,
should experience. And Cheryl, I just love you. I'm so happy that you showed up today and, gave us an opportunity to see what really, really, truly happens behind the scenes. And, that you just didn't wake up like this.
Like Beyonce.
Right, like Beyonce, that it took a minute. And I know you have a goodie for everybody. So you guys, I want to let you know that if you go over to www.lifeandtimes360.com, that's www.lifeandtimes360.com. You could join our community. We have a Facebook page called Life and Times of a Female Entrepreneur. And you could also hit the little button that says Cheryl Wood, and she got a goodie for you there that you can download. Again, that's Life and Times with an S 360.com, and join a community. Life and Times of a Female Entrepreneur. It's a community of women, and we talk about what's going on in our world. What can we help each other with? It's a community to encourage those that want to be entrepreneurs but don't know where to start. Introduce yourself, say who you are, what part of the world are you coming from, and tell us what you do. Put your website, your link, whatever that is, so that we can support you. And that's what this platform is all about, is supporting female entrepreneurs and those that want to be entrepreneurs. And the reason why we had dynamic women like Cheryl Wood on is to show you that, hey, you have to keep going. Mm-hmm. You cannot stop. The show is not over. People need what you have. And sometimes your story is not for you. But if you quit on the rest of us who need what you have.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to be bold and stand up straight. Say, you know what? It's not over. So what? That didn't work. I'm going to try it again, or I'm going to try it differently because somebody needs what I have. Mm-hmm. And I was born a rock star. So tap on into that inner rock star and show up great. And Miss Wood, I love you so much. And
I love you so, and it's so great to see you just moving and shaking. And I'm like, look at her just showing off. I love it. I love it.
Off. Don't give me 30 seconds though. It's going down. Going down. I'm telling anybody listening, don't give me 30 seconds.
That's right. That's what I say. Oh, don't give me the microphone. You don't want to give me the microphone if you don't really want me to say something.
Cheryl has already equipped me with what to do in my 30 seconds.
Okay? I love it.
You've all been warned. And Cheryl, real quick, I'm so sorry. We have Playtime is Over coming up, right?
Yes.
Please, I'm
so
sorry.
The fourth annual Playtime is Over Women in Business Conference, where it's primarily focused for women, but men and women are there. So men, we are not turning you away. That's happening on November 2nd through 4th. The conference is on, we have our early bird special pricing going right now. You just go to ptioconference.com, ptioconference.com. We have very, very, very limited VIP seats this year. I'm talking very limited. And I know some folks going to wait till the last minute. They do it every year. Then they call me and try to get in. That will not be happening this year. We are very limited. And I'm talking like 65 people for VIP. And Darren Henson is going to be joining us as one of our keynote speakers. The VIP are going to get an exclusive luncheon with Darren. Pamela Slim, who is amazing. She's going to be coming and talking about marketing ecosystems. We got some amazing folks who are coming this year to pour into us, really successful people who are going to share their journey. Our focus is really, really strongly on people in the business sector who have turned, nothing into massive success.
Okay. You said you got some really good people this year. You had good people all the years.
I'm good people every year.
Yes. Every year you've been killing it. I'm like, she got her. Oh, well, I'll be so. Now Darren is going to be something to look at while we're sitting there. I'm just saying. You might have.
And what I love about Darren is I love that all the women are coming to see Darren, but Darren he be putting down knowledge, right?
Yeah,
he putting down some knowledge. I love what I love about him is that he has had to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
And he's done an amazing job of reinventing himself in this next season of his life. And so I heard him speak down an event that was hosted by Crystal Cunningham and where were we at? Wilmington, Delaware. And he was amazing. And we connected. He's really, really good. He be spitting game. I'm just saying.
He's serious really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Cause I've heard him too. And I'm like, again, they gave me the microphone. I asked him a question right on it. I was like, hey, brother, he's great. So,
yeah, and so humble.
Yes. Yes. So you guys, PTIO conference.com. Okay. Yeah. So y'all don't want to wait till the last minute. I've been there every year, so I'm just saying. I might have a little favoritism, a little something going on. But all jokes aside, it is the place to be. People, women, just come from all over the world into this one space. And the days that you're there, so dynamic. The love also. It's just so many women supporting each other like that. Mm-hmm. In one room, a bunch of women, and we all loving up on each other. And, taking selfies, that's my thing, right?
Right.
It's just hashtag PTIO. That's just what we do. So you don't want to miss the fun this year. You got to show up. Real rock stars show up. Other than that, don't be hitting us in the inbox and you ain't showing up now.
Right.
You're not showing us that you want to be great. All right. So Cheryl Wood, they know who you are now, girl.
All right. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, you guys. And tune in next week for some more dynamic female entrepreneurs showing you what really goes on behind the scenes. And until next time, we'll see you later. We are out.